Good evening and welcome back to ChessMess. Today we shall be explaining the rule of the square. Now in this position that we have, the kings are obviously still on the table and the black side has got a pawn left. The black pawn is trying to get to the far side from black's perspective in order to promote to a queen or a rook and deliver a checkmate on the king in the style of one of our earlier videos. However, the white king is trying to catch up with the pawn to capture him before he promotes in order to draw the game. So it's to your benefit to be able to calculate very quickly, as fast as possible, whether you can catch the pawn in time or whether your own pawn can get to the other side in time. Now the way that we do this is with the rule of the square. You simply draw a square on the board in your mind from where the pawn is to the edge of the board and then generate a square like this. If the king is able to step inside the square, he will be able to catch the pawn. So in this position, if it's white's turn, he can step inside the square. The pawn tries to get across, and the pawn promotes, but the king is in time to take the queen on his turn. Now if we reset back to the original position, if it's the pawn's move first, the square becomes this big, and the king can no longer step inside the square. The pawn promotes, and the king is in check, but he's too far away to capture the queen now, and it's going to be checkmate shortly. Now this rule doesn't just apply to a small square like this. If we were to put the black pawn back here, and the king here, for example, the square now has five sides like this. And the same rule applies. So if it's white's turn in this position, white can get inside the square and he can easily catch the pawn, like so. The same rule applies if the king is in a position like this. So imagine the square here again. If it's white's turn, he can get inside the square and he will be able to catch up with the pawn. And captured. One thing to watch out for, when the pawn is on the second rank like this, if it's the pawn's move, he will be able to move 2 squares on his first move, and now the king can't catch him. And he will just be chasing vainly behind like this until the pawn promotes to a queen, and it's check. And that's going to be game over very shortly. And that's it for the rule of the square.